Bitcoin and Litecoin daily update. Is 46K still in play for Bitcoin? We're going to talk about that, and I'm going to give you my opinion. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Saturday, and I want to wish you all a great weekend. We're going to take a look at the charts, starting out with Litecoin, moving on to Bitcoin, and then we're going to look at my favorite chart, the Bitcoin daily versus gold weekly, and show you why I believe we're still on our way to 46,000 by the end of the year. And that would put Litecoin somewhere between 500 and 1,000. As we get more data, we can zero in on a better target for that. But as of now, Litecoin 500 to 1,000, Bitcoin 46 to 47,000. So I'm going to try to make this a quick video. It is my wife's birthday today, so we got things planned. So if I may forget some stuff in here, but I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. I know I always say that and end up long, but I hate leaving information out. I do want to remind you guys, definitely join our free Discord group. It's in the description below the video. There's a free link in there. Go in there. It's an awesome community. People helping each other out, even if you just want to talk about crypto or you want to learn charting, whatever. Great place to hang out. Check it out if you love crypto. I think you will be impressed. There is also some affiliate links down there. Definitely use them if you can. It helps the channel out, guys. It helps support the channel big time. If you can use them, great. If not, that's okay too. And let's get on with the chart and see what's going on. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market can be extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind, it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. And if you're new here or you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button to get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos, as I do post videos every day. I am going to, starting Wednesday, there's going to be a short series of short tutorials, just teaching a little bit of the basics to get you guys started if you want to learn the chart. So definitely check those out. They start Wednesday because I won't be able to do daily updates for about 5 days. So that'll give you something to watch and get you into charting. And yeah, that's really about it. I want to take a look at what's going on. Definitely don't forget to hit the likes, guys, and leave your comments. So we've been watching this neckline of $100 as a cup and a handle forming, and our measured move off of that is the 180 range. I'm still 100% looking for that $180 range. Also, it looks like we could be forming a larger cup and handle with the neckline of around 145, 146. If we look at this as the cup and the handle forming, and the breakout of that, guys, would give us the target of $270 Litecoin. So we're going to take a look at these other targets too. We'll take a look at the bearish scenario when we go into the 4 hour. But I do want to give you, we've watched this as a rising channel here, with this yellow line being the resistance on the top, this being the support on the bottom, which we started creating when we hit bottom. Also have a white line drawn in here. I believe this line's going to hold, and we'll take a look at that. Now, the measured move of the breakout from the 180 range, if we just measured from this rising broadening wedge using the yellow, my target would be around the two, actually it should be higher than that. Let me move this down. My target from there, guys, would be around the 270 range. So I am looking for that. Also, if we use the yellow rising broadening wedge and use the target of that, if we broke out at that 180 range, it's a 302. Now, guys, remember, it doesn't go straight up. So, you know, people get so impatient. I thought you said it was going to this. It takes time. The market has to correct. People take profits. It's, you know, it's a slow process. I don't day trade, so I don't care about all them little moves and stress you out staring at charts and all that. It's not worth it to me, guys. Plus, I work full time. For those of you that don't know, I hold my Bitcoin. I hold my Litecoin. I have a cash account, trading account that I use to leverage trade Bitcoin. I leverage trade on 5 times leverage. I don't gamble with 20 to 100 times leverage. I use my profits from my trades to buy more Litecoin and Bitcoin. So I'm always holding them. I don't risk losing my coins. So that's my, I wanted to mention that just because people are always asking. But that's what I do. I hold my Litecoin and Bitcoin. I trade leverage and use my profits to buy more. I do not trade my physical coins. So anyways, yeah. So that would be our 300 target if we broke and we use the measured move off of the yellow rising broadening wedge. Like I said, that's not my end of the year target. My end of the year target is somewhere between 500 to 1,000. And the more data we get, then we'll come up with how we get there. So anyways, let's look at the RSI on the daily and see what's going on here. We had this rising channel in yellow that we'd been following. It started in November. Then we have a falling channel here in the white. It looked like kind of like a bull trap or a bear trap in the RSI here. And we've broken out, and it looks like we're coming back down to test the bottom of that. We do have support on these peaks, and we could have another small move down, guys. I do want to point out, though, this being, if you look at this trend line here going from this peak, it would be this peak right here. We're getting higher lows in the price action and lower lows in the RSI. That's hidden bullish divergence, guys. We're definitely looking for a move up soon, but we could go a little bit lower before it. But I'm definitely looking for a move up. We are creating hidden bullish divergence on the daily. The daily takes more time. Let's look at the 4-hour. 4-hour RSI. We had this falling channel here. This was since April. We had our big move in April. That's where this channel started. We had a falling wedge here, which we broke up into a series of falling channels. We are still in the latest falling channel. If you look here, it looks kind of like a bear trap in the RSI and a bull trap over here, but we're still within this channel. Question is, do we come up, retest this, and then come back down all the way down to here? That's pretty low. That would be testing the bottom of this channel and this. Definitely possible, and we'll take a look at that in a bearish scenario. But the other thing I wanted to point out here, guys, is, let's get this down here so you can see it. If you notice right here, we're creating higher lows in the RSI, lower lows in the price action. That's bullish divergence, guys. So now let's look at the 4-hour and see what I'm looking at here. You can see I have the channel drawn in here, which could be still a bear flag, with a continued move down. But we're going to take a look at this. We could break down from here. I also had drawn yesterday, for people in the Discord that belong to the Discord, you would have seen this. I had this drawn as a rising wedge here. And as we all know, rising wedges usually break down. And they break down, and the measured move of that is the width of the longest point of the wedge and then put over. And that gets us around the $94 to $95 range, guys. So that's the one possibility. And the other is, like I have this drawn here. And by the time I make this video, we may have broken down out of it. But this would be a channel here. Could possibly come up, test around the 111, 112, maybe test again. If it breaks, then we would come down to test this trend line here around the 90. It's actually going to be a little bit higher than that, I think, guys. Right around the $95 range. So, which would be basically double bottom off of this one. So I am looking at that as a possibility. Other possibility, we wick through this and come down to the $88, $87, $86 range. But looking at the bearish case scenario, that's a possibility. If this area breaks, guys, the absolute worst case scenario I see is coming down to the bottom of this, the yellow rising broadening wedge, which would be around the $60 range, which is old resistance become new support. and actually it'd be up a little bit higher than that. It's around the 61, somewhere in there. But that's absolute worst case scenario. Now I'm going to take a look at the bullish scenario, which I believe is playing out. And I really don't think this line's gonna break here. It's possible, definitely possible, but in my opinion, I don't think it's gonna break. So if we look at this as a falling channel here, and we take a measured move of that falling channel, which would be the width of the channel straight up and down from where it would break out. And I'm looking for a break, and there's no guarantees it's going to break here, but where the bottom of this blue rising wedge channel off of these wicks here, you can tell when we hit that we fell through pretty good. But I would look for the breakout in that area, which would also be the top of this channel. And if that was to happen, that would be within the next 2 days. So this weekend would be the break of this, if we're going to break it. If we're going to break it, then my target's 148. That doesn't mean we'd shoot straight up to 148, guys. We could crawl up, but that would be my target if we broke this area. So, and I'm actually steering towards that. There's also, we looked over here as this being an A, B, and a C. And if that's correct, we've already hit it, and that was down here. So, yeah, I'm still bullish. I think we're going to come back up and break this. I don't believe we're going to break this white line. Keep in mind, if we do, though, we are looking at much lower lows. So, and if it breaks, guys, the candle, at least a 4-hour candle is going to have to close below before it's confirmed. So if it comes down and then just makes a wick, no big deal. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at with Litecoin. And I already showed you the higher targets and why. Let's go over to Bitcoin now. Bitcoin on the daily. As you can see, I drew another trend line. This is a new one here. Off of these wicks down here. As you can see, that's where this one stopped. Now, so you're not confused, I'm going to get rid of that one and keep our original ones here, off of these wicks down here and this wick here. And looking at the parabolic action, which we had a falling channel here, rising channel, broke out of that into another rising channel, broke out of that into another rising channel, broke out of that. That's why I believe this line's going to hold. Also, in the end of the video, I'm going to show you another reason I believe that line's going to hold in the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly chart. Very interesting. Definitely check it out. If you want to see where I believe we're headed, you definitely want to stick around. So anyways, yeah, this is the daily chart on Bitcoin. And also there's another possibility I'm going to show you, but we're going to look at the higher targets here. We were looking at this as a rising broadening wedge in the yellow. Our target was 96. We hit that. We broke out of this channel here. Our target was 13.6. We hit 13.8, so it was pretty damn close. Now what I'm looking at is a break of this area. If we were to break out of this trend line within the next few days, then my target would be around 18,000. And that's a measured move off of this rising channel here, using this as resistance and this as support. Then I have another one using the bigger channel, which would be this as support, using the top as resistance, and that measured move would be around the $20,000 range, guys. So definitely right up with our all-time high. The other measured move I have for breaking out of that area, and keep in mind, guys, the longer it takes to break this trend line, the higher our target's going to get. I'll show you why. But if we were to break out here and measuring this as a rising broadening wedge from the yellow line being support, white line being resistance, gets us up to around the $25,000 range. Like I said, depending on where we break out of this, that gets our target up higher. But I do believe once we get up into one of these areas, it may be the 20, it may be the 25, but we'll come back down and test this trend line before continuing up. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to take a look at one more thing that's pretty interesting that we could possibly be forming here, guys. And that is a giant bull flag. definite possibility, and I'll show you the target of that here in a second. Let me get this lined up. That would consist of us not breaking any lower than we have today, which is 11.2. So if the 11.2 is hold, this is a definite possibility. The measured move off that is going to be measuring this as the bull flag right here and putting it to where we break out. And again, this changes considering where we break out. But if we were to break out somewhere in this area, the 12,980, so we break through the 13,000 range, then that target is around the 19,400. So that is what I'm looking at there. Those are our big targets. Now we'll take a look at the RSIs, and then we're going to take, I'm going to get this off here so don't confuse us. Take a look at the RSIs, and then we'll take a look at our more immediate price action and what I think is going to happen. All right, so the daily RSI, you can see I have drawn in here this rising wedge that started in November, just like Litecoin. And we had some areas where we dropped out, so I drew another bottom on it here. Then we fell out of it in a falling channel, broke out of that falling channel. Now it looks like we are in a falling wedge, and falling wedges usually break up. If we did a measured move, and again, guys, this is on the RSI, not the price action. Did a measured move breaking up, we would be coming up to test this trend line right here again, which has helped us call the tops. So keep that in mind. And also I want to look at divergence here. And as you can see, we look at this low here and this low in the RSI, and then look at the higher low here and the lower low here, that was hidden bullish divergence. Now we're creating that here also. And keep in mind, this is the daily chart. But if you look at this low here is right here, and take a look at the next low, it's higher low in the price, lower low in the RSI, hidden bullish divergence. We got this run up. So we're definitely still creating hidden bullish divergence here. Let's go into the 4-hour RSI, more immediate, and take a look at what's going on here. All right, so in the 4-hour, if we look at the chart at the same time, we are getting hidden bullish divergence. This is straight across, and this is called exaggerated divergence. That will be in my video Wednesday. But see how this is straight across? These are equal lows, and in here we get a lower low. That's bullish. I do believe it's bullish, and we are going to continue up. But I do want to take a look at the bearish case scenario, guys. We definitely have to keep that in mind because anything's possible. Nobody knows the future. I'm just giving you my opinion. All right, so where we're at now, if this white trend line right here, the old resistance of this rising channel, which we've broken out of, I do believe this is going to hold. So I'd say around the 11.3. But if this breaks, then we're looking at coming down to retest the 200 EMA in the 4-hour, which is going to be around between 10.6 and 10.7 area. So watch for this line to break. Like I said, it's actually around the $11,000. So if we break the 11,000 again, chances are we're going down to at least 10.6 to 10.7. If that doesn't hold, again, guys, just looking at the bearish case scenario, I don't believe this is going to happen. But if that doesn't hold, then we're looking at the $9,600 range, which would be the bottom of this rising channel. And if that wasn't to hold, worst case scenario I see is the $81 or $81,000 range, and that would be the retesting the top of this rising channel that we broke out of. Do I think that's going to happen? I highly doubt it, guys. Highly doubt it. Now we'll take a look at what I believe is happening. We'll zoom in a little bit. And so we were looking at this as a falling wedge, and the measured move of that would be measuring the width of the widest part of the wedge where we touched it here and bringing that to the breakout, and that's around the 14.3 range. That's still my target. I do have some I am exiting my position there. That's not to say it stops there, guys, but we may get a bull flag, you know, or some sort of reset in the RSI. Get some sideways action, some accumulation before continuing up, because I do believe that's what's going to happen. Again, guys, I could be wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion. So we also had looked at this as an ABC, and let me take a measurement of that real quick. I don't believe I have it on here, but if we measured this, that would make this a B, and a C. And we would take this line and put it to the top of B, and that would give us our measured move of 9,000. Like I said, I don't believe that's happening, but I like to take a look at the bearish case also, just so we're prepared just in case. Now on this, looking at one more bearish case, and that'd be looking at this as an ABC, which I don't believe it is. That would get us down to that $96,000 range. So that's our bearish case. Now let's look at our bullish case scenario. Like I was showing you, the falling wedge here, the measured move off that's right there at the 14.3. I do have another measured move here at 14, and I kind of think that one's invalidated, but we will take a look at it. And that's measuring, well, let me get that out of the way. Actually, let me delete that, clean this up a little bit. That would be measuring this as a bull or a flag pull, and this being a flag right here, and I'll draw it out for you real quick. But I do believe it's invalidated because we didn't break down much past it, just a wick. But that'd be looking at this as a bull flag, and the measured move off of that to where we broke out, that gets us to $14,000 range. So this wick's really not counting for me, so I'm still looking at the 14,000 to 14.3 here, guys. Still looks good to me, unless we break down below here. And this target, the 14.3 from the breakout of here, only gets invalidated if we break below the 99,668 range. That's the only reason this would be invalidated for me. But like I said, again, I am pretty confident that this trend line holds, and we'll take a look at that in the Bitcoin daily chart. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. Right here is my targets for where I think we're headed. Now, looking at the Bitcoin daily chart, this is where it gets interesting. You can see the trend line I have drawn off of old support. These two dips right here, the old support and the bear market. And I've drawn this straight across. And this is where I think we're going to hold as support. And that's going to be around right around the $11,000 range, guys, give or take $100. We'll zoom in and get a little better look, but I do believe this is going to hold. Now, this is my target for the end of the year, and I'm going to show you why. This is 46,000 to 47,000. Keep in mind, too, I have this blue line drawn in here, which is off of each one of these supports before the breakdown, and we blew through that. We kind of tested it because we had that big wick back, I don't know, a month and a half ago or so. But anyways, keep an eye on the arrow. This is where we're at right now, and I'm going to show you in the gold chart where I think we're at. Keep an eye on this. Remember, a pattern is a pattern, period. One more thing, guys. I didn't go into my rant about scammers. Please do not pay these guys to learn how to trade. They're just teaching you the basics. You can find it anywhere free on the internet. That stuff really disgusts me. I see so many people getting wrecked because of that stuff after they paid ridiculous amounts of monies to learn how to get wrecked, basically. You got to do your own due diligence, guys. Also, 2 touches on this bottom trend line. Now we're going over to gold. 2 touches on the bottom trend line. I drew off of these peaks here. This trend line coming across here, and actually that may be more down in this range, but I'm not certain on that. And actually it could be, but I'm going to keep it where I had it. Either way, right in this area, this is where I believe we're at in Bitcoin. And as you can see where gold peaked out, that's why I have my 46,000. Look at the resemblance, guys. This could be the key to financial freedom and the opportunity of a lifetime. So as you can see, once we broke up and stayed above this, we had our next big move up, and then you can see what happened after that. We almost come down and tested that. So I guess I could move that line to where it tested there. That does line up over here and gets enough touches, so that is definitely possible. But yeah, that's where I believe we're at. And if we look at, you know, we have the blue line way up here. Do we get up that high before correction? No, we might around the 18, then come back and come all the way back down and retest this. We'll have to see how this plays out and follow it. But either way, I mean, it's just beautiful resemblance. A pattern's a pattern, guys. I do believe there's huge news coming out. The Trump tweet, that's pretty big news. Even though he tried to be negative on it, it still got it out to millions of people. Now they're curious to what Bitcoin are, for the people that didn't know. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at there. I do want to show you. We're going to zoom into that area. And the resemblance is amazing. And like I showed you earlier, if we put a bull flag on the gold chart here, let me draw it in there for you. Whoops, so if we drew this as the bull flag and zoom in a little bit. All right, so if we looked at that as the bull flag and we did a measured move of the flagpole, like I showed you in Bitcoin, and we'll do it again on these charts. Measured move of that was, see how close that was? The measured move was $1,006 and it went to $1,030. So that's, and then we had a correction after that. So the question is, do we look for a correction after this bull flag pops? We're going to zoom in and look at that. And we'll draw, if this is what it is, guys. There's no guarantees, but damn, it looks good. So if we drew the bull flag here, like we did in gold, that would be somewhere in there. We did a measured move off the flagpole, which would be here, all the way up, and to where we break out. Again, this will change depending on where we break out. It'll get lower the longer it takes, if this is what we're doing. But that gets us up to around the 19,000. Question is, do we go to 19,000 and come all the way back down and correct into the 12,000? Definitely possible before our huge push up. We got time. We could, you know, go up here and then have a straight hard correction. But I don't believe it's going to go all the way down here, though. I think the correction would probably stop around the 13,000, 14,000. But again, we'll have to see. That's why I do daily updates. We keep updated and we keep an eye on what's going on, and we've been following this closely. This is the only channel we have been following these two charts since back here in January. And if we look at gold, it was about right in this area. We look at Bitcoin, it was right in here. We started watching this as we broke this trend line right here. It's just amazing how this is playing out, guys. Now, another thing I want to show you is the RSI. We're going to look at the weekly RSI on Bitcoin. And as you can see, I had these two trend lines drawn here. This one is the 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. We had two touches of resistance on this trend line before breaking through, starting the bull market. 2017 bull market followed by the bear market. Two touches of resistance on the trend line before breaking through, starting the bull market. The parabolic bull market, I might add. Now let's look at the monthly RSI. This is the monthly RSI. I actually believe this is going to be even more parabolic. But anyways, we have these two arcs drawn in here. This is 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows represents a new low in the RSI before starting the bull market. 2017 bull market followed by the bear market. Each arrow represents a low in the RSI before starting the bull market. There were 4 lows here, 4 lows here. The only difference is this is going to be much more parabolic in my opinion. And we are in the midst of seeing some huge moves. I do believe this arc's going to be more like this, guys. So anyways, if you enjoyed the channel, definitely consider subscribing by clicking the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post videos, as I do post every day. Smash those likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think of the video, and I appreciate you all for stopping by. And shout out to everybody. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers, and I believe we can hit that today. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.